welcome to this video about the anomalies that I've heard in ABBA's song Eagle. Now, just to clarify, we are talking about the edited version that is on More ABBA Gold here. It was released as a single in a few territories, not the UK. Now, a few things to say then. First of all, the single version is very slightly faster than the full version that kicks off the album. It's also more compressed. Now, this would have been some compression that was added originally in the 70s because singles tended to be, and they also tended to have brighter treble and bass to try and sort of make up for deficiencies in the equipment that it will be played on. And this compression is actually quite audible. Now, I'm talking about, as I say, the More ABBA Gold version. Now, whether or not Tretov actually applied any extra compression, I don't know. I also listened on the Astley version of More ABBA Gold, more of which later, and the Jonsson deluxe version of the album has his version of this edited single on it too, and each one sounds successively more compressed, and the EQ gets gradually worse and worse. Tretov sounds okay, a little bit bright but okay. The other two just sound awful, really. I think Astley's is probably the worst. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin the anomalies. At 7 seconds, there is some pre-delay audible, most prominently out of phase, but also audible on the headphones. It's like a sort of print-through effect of the glissando swoopy effect that's just about to come around about 8 seconds. Whether or not it was intended, I don't know. There is a special effect called pre-delay, but I don't know whether or not that was part of it. Also, while we're talking effects, some of those bass hits, there's a lot of great big bursts of reverb, and I think on the bass drum hits there are quite a few. Every so often you get a boom and a great sort of burst of reverb coming through. Right, stereo positions wise, Astley and Tretov have the same stereo positions. Jonsson's are inverted, and at 22 seconds on the left hand side, it's like an overdub of a drum kit which is going to cover up the edit that is going into the verse, and it's cut off very early at 22 seconds. There's I think it's a tom-tom drum that sounds like it's like a biscuit tin because it's been cut off too early. At about 55 seconds, there are 4 quite heavy chord hits. Now, this is where, depending on whose master tapes you have, because there's a lot of complications regarding the album, and some master tapes were actually more distorted than others. You need to look at Rudolph's videos for clarification on that. But here, in the most sort of telling evidence of bad master tapes, these 4 chords really distort the tape, and the second one in particular, it actually sounds like some of the backing and the main synth that's playing this line actually duck out for a second or two, and it's, I think, actually quite uncomfortable to listen to at that point. Right, at 1 minute 8 seconds, there's another duff cymbal. It's either an edit or more probably anyway, overlay compression, which causes this audible ducking and possibly the next cymbal is affected too. The very next cymbal beat is affected. It sort of ducks down a little bit. Right, I've marked these two anomaly points 1 minute 11 seconds plus and 2 minute 42 second plus, respectively. They're the same points in each verse, and it's the "And I dream I'm an eagle, and I dream I can spread my wings, flying high, high." Now, I think there's an edit on the word wings in both places. Certainly, by the time you've got to high, high, the edit has been done, and you can hear there's like an EQ shift on the second high, and also a little glitch in the tape on the second high. But I think it's round about the word wings that there's a first edit performed. The second time, in the second verse, on the right hand side you can hear some extra upper bass notes which hide the join a bit better, but the first time it's actually quite a prominent join. Well, prominent for this song anyway, because as I say, there's so much reverb everywhere. As I'm very fond of saying, reverb covereth a multitude of sins, and it's actually quite hard to spot a lot of the anomalies here. But you know, I think a keen ear would spot the edit at wings in both of those places. There's some very clever editing during the interlude between the end of the first chorus and the beginning of verse 2. And in fact, it's really after the "To Go Anywhere That I Please," there's a drum hit and then the first synthesizer chord, which is an E minor chord. During that chord, there's an edit. And you can hear an EQ shift. It's very, very obvious on the Astley master or remaster. At 3 minutes 4 seconds, the word "seas" disappears from the backing vocals. You need to be listening to the left-hand side, mountains and forests and something. It's more obvious in the first verse that they are actually singing it. It appears to disappear, I suppose, in the second chorus. Now, when Tretov edited this for a single, he cut out the solo on the full version and also the chorus repeat, so that you're just then going straight to the extended fade out. And he did it by means of an eagle call, as it were. It's like hello, and oh, bloody hell. And that actually covers up the edit very nicely. Astley, we're assuming, only had access to the full-length version, so that when he remastered Gold in 1999, he actually had to hack up the full-length version to get the same or roughly the same edited version as the single, and he didn't do it very well, and the join is very, very obviously heard. 3 minutes 12, 3 to 13 seconds. Very jumpy edit there. Nothing more to say really. And those then are the anomalies in Eagle. I will see you next time.